This is day 583 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Here we're doing Siman Shimon Gimel Sif Daled, the Siman Shimon Hey Sif Hey. Shimon Gimel Daled. Koser Bein Ramah the Koser Shikah Aviv, Orvar Shari Mitzvahs Katnu. So Afro Bishen Sir Chuvuk Shigdil, Mikom Kom Tovo Shikabel is a double atzmo, Chuvuk Kapora. Abishavar Kodem Shon Nasas Manochin. Somebody Cotton did a serious sin when he was a child, such as a child, such as that he hit his father or other averos, even though he doesn't have to do tshuva when he grows up. Nevertheless, it's best to accept upon himself something for tshuva and kapara, even though again it was done before he became a bar onshin. The bracket brings down a reference to Rashi Baba Count of Tzadi Ches Rab Bahak Kafi Rafim Rabashi. Tasif Cotton Base. Hey, Vadash Rama Perkov Dam Shabbos. Then you have because Cotton Shah Sub Shabbos Dvar Dovash Mishum Shvus. A Cotton who did it Rabbanon Shabbos goes to tell Shmelt it's not a knuckle. He plucked something from a non-perforated pot. Until the Bakamis are carried when there's no air. And basically Mitzvah Fisher base not required to separate him. So if his father lets him do it also, we don't protest against the father. Why did he limit it to Rabbanon? We hold that even if he's eating treif, we're not required to separate him. Said previously. Basically in his leka, he wrote himself in terms of a fire. To extinguishes the fire on his own initiative. You don't have to separate him. The Ram Kibu Shabbos have malacha deraisa. Ram Kibu on Shabbos malacha deraisa. But I've got shim malacha shein tzil gufa because he knows malacha shein tzil gufa. You're not doing it in order amanas levayer. You're not doing it in order to make holes to burn next time. Nevertheless, we know that pasuk perikal perikabula chayv shein tzil gufa. Ram she does your chayv malacha shein tzil gufa deraisa. Rabbeinu says it here, it's the Seshkos of Shvus. But he says means that which he wrote Shvus, which sounds like a Rabbanon, Zelinish the Messiah, that refers to his what he concludes. If Aviv Yinicho, and his father didn't do it, we don't protest against the father. That's only by the Rabbanon. If it's a Deraisa Mochim B'Yodo. If it's a Deraisa, we do protest against the father. Vavapika Vaziza Kos Rabbeinu Ramah, Mash Kos Rabbeinu B'Yisrael Avim Mitzuva Ligorbo Lafrisho. The basis Ramah writes now, which Yosef says that if his father is commanded to rebuke him and separate him from the prohibition, custom Isur Doraisa. The Ramah writes that it's only for an Isur Doraisa. The roast of Isur Rabbana Isur Lavisho to indicate that from Isur Rabbana you don't have to separate the child. But volume Tmuim, this is astonishing. So Father is required to separate him and to rebuke him and distance him from Rabbanon. Yes, because of those who write Magen Avraham, the Kabbalah says the Beis Din and a goer both. Beis Din doesn't protest against the father if he's not rebuking the child. That's more astonishing. But Rabbeinu says Beis says it doesn't write that we don't protest against him. Why should he make such a distinction? Those who say the Ram here said because Shigilachich. In other places, Myra ben Loy Gilachan. Tell you about where he's under the age of Chilach. Dema. Where the Rambam writes the Ligorbo, that's only where the Gilachin. Language is identical all over. And if it's at the age of chinuch, we should also separate him from the Rabbanon. The Shmuel says that the Gra says that this is why the reason Ramah says that Doraisa, because it's Rabbanon sometimes you don't separate him, and even it's mutar l'chatchila sometimes when he needs it, such as washing and anointing on Yom Kippur for a cousin. Okay, Zayin. L'chein Rel is daiti, but the Arukh HaShulchan gives us opinion. By a child eating treif, we don't have to separate him. We don't distinguish whether he's doing it on his own volition, or on his father's volition. If that's the case, why does the Rambam, the Gemara and the Rambam, by kibui, distinguish between whether he's doing it in his own volition, which is okay, and on his father's volition, which is not okay. Because it says chiluk by any yisur. Here we don't say it. Why? But this is the mahal. In matters of eating, where he has a desire, he's certainly eating for himself. As opposed to doing a malach on Shabbos, he doesn't have such a desire. So then, they're required to analyze. Hadas miyuosa. Whose will is being followed here? They have to inquire into this. That's only by Deraisa. We don't have to analyze this. We assume he does it on his own volition. It's a nice shot. That's what the Rambam says here, this Chiddush, that if a Kohen does something on Shabbos, which is the Rabbanon, ain't based on Mitzum Lafrisho, based on separate him, Klomar, meaning, they know Lachkor Shem Osa Dasavi. We don't have to clarify if he's doing it on his father's, on account of his father's will, and for his father. That's when it concludes, his father allows him, we don't protest. Klomar, meaning, Lichora may even Yichol would see that since father lets him do it, he's probably doing it on the basis of his father. If not, the father would have protested. Come. Nevertheless, Rak Shvus is only the Rabbanon, and we don't have to. We don't have to analyze this and inquire after it. Bring a das atzmo also. The Rabbanon, we can assume is doing a das atzmo, even the father is quiescent. Ches. This also seems that it's by Cotton who hasn't reached the each of Chinuch. Sha'osa Yisra Malacha b'Shabbos. Does Malacha Shabbos only time outside das atzmo or das, but you don't know he's doing on his own volition, his father's volition, or das chem, or for someone else. It's the Raisa, if it's the Raisa Mechibi Yodo, we protest. In the Mistam also das Lavi V'Alchem, he's probably doing it on his father's intent or somebody else's intent. And when Kena Dan Biro shows Al Das Atzmo, clearly he's doing Al Das Atzmo. And when we saw Shvutz, if it's the Rabbana, or meaning the Mistam also Das Atzmo, we don't have to make an inquiry. We just assume that he's doing Al Das Atzmo. It's an interesting dichotomy. We don't protest against the father. I guess we don't know. We don't have to protest against the child. Let's know clearly. That he's doing it for the father or others. Then we have to ask the Katan to cease and desist. Says the bracket, they bring down the whole story of the Shas Mishnah Sfile because they hold me the stomach Mino Shas Das Aviv. We assume he does it al Das Aviv, Umochim Biyado, and therefore we protest what he's doing. That's obviously according to Shigi al Chinuch. Okay, Shin Daled Mem, not Shin Mem Daled for obvious reasons. Holech B'Midbar V'Nei Yodeh Moshe Shabbos. Somebody who goes in the desert and doesn't know when Shabbos is. Somebody's going to the desert. He forgets to count the days. He doesn't know when Shabbos, when it's Shabbos, when it's not. Maya said, what does he do? Counts 7 days from the day that he realized he forgot. On the seventh day, he makes Kiddush and Abdullah. That's Yom Rishon, and Yomim u'mishamer Yom Echad. I guess it seems like he's iterating himself. The first day he forgot is the first day, and then he counts 6 days and keeps 1 day. The Chazal said you only do Kiddush and Abdullah. The Melacha called Yom Mishabah it's low because all the days are equal in terms of Melacha. Every day you can't do Melacha because maybe that day is Shabbos. That's cute. There's no concept of being mevatel the day is barov. Each day is separate in and of itself. Shabbos. Besides, Shabbos is Dover Chashuv, right? It's Chatichur is Kabed. The Messiah doesn't know when it is. It's the Rabbanon also and you're not allowed even doing this is the Rabbanon. on any day of the week. Which the Buddha says if you don't have wine, you can do Kiddush by davening. Because, and he in fact should daven on that day, which he keeps Shabbos davening. Arukh HaShulchan doesn't seem to address. And this also, b'shas chak, mitzvah, he says, also you shouldn't have Havdalah, you should say Chatochen Otanu, which b'shas chak, in Mariv, Motzei Shabbos, your Shabbos, say Chatochen Otanu, and this is b'shas chak, the mitzvah of the Havdalah. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. Below Shabbos is fake the Rabbanon Kula. Tonight Shabbos is fake the Rabbanon Kula. I'm not sure it'd be only the Rabbanon. By Melachos the Rabbanon. Say fake the Rabbanon Kula. The call suffix shemirmach chitzon yediyah. Any suffix is because of lack of knowledge. And a suffix, not a suffix, much because you're there sim kufyud. Furthermore, they ain't got suffix. There's no suffix about koch is kan Shabbos. So maybe that's more. It's definitely a Shabbos independent of the other days. It's not mixed in with the other days. No. However, if he doesn't have bread to eat, he's allowed to work every day for his parnasa, for the daily bread. Obviously, it's a danger. The Shabbos. Even though he considers to be his Shabbos, he should also do the same thing. You can't say that the day before he should do double. Maybe yes, it was Shabbos. In terms of his walking, what about Chum Shabbos? For the benefit of Shabbos, he should walk every day the maximum he can. Otherwise, he'll never reach a community to find out again that it's Shabbos. When it's Shabbos. The day he's making his Shabbos, he could refrain from going more than 2,000 amas. Since Chumas Rabbanon lo ichmiru b'tah midbar, they weren't severe with somebody who's wandering around in the desert. Even Chumas D'Oraisa, the Misha Sober, the Yud Beis Mil Avid D'Oraisa, those all that 12 meals D'Oraisa. Never came to the aim as a skila. Never since it's D'Oraisa where there's no stoning involved. If you did amazing lo ichmiru b'tah midbar, they were not stringent on somebody who is wandering in the desert. They don't even do this at the rights in order to get out the desert, ASAP. Became Shabbos Koroi in order to keep Shabbos properly. So Shabbos gains from the fact that he goes on this day which he doesn't hit Shabbos. So Shabbos, and this was that we said there is no cognition of this day being a Shabbos, only in Kiddush and Havdalah. The Mishnah brings down the El Rabbah's Mako to do the Rabbanans even on his 7th day, because it is a spake of the Rabbanan. It means he's Mako all 7 days. Not like the Arukh HaShulchan. Okay? If Chas v'Shalom somebody was in this situation, maybe it could be Mako, because they're the Rabbanan, but I don't think such a thing is shaykh in our day and age, except for Yechidei Skula. If he knew what day it was that he left. So he knows that this is the 4th or 5th day since he left. He doesn't know what day he left. He do malacha every 8th day after he left. He certainly didn't leave on Shabbos. So that would go. So the 15th day after he left, the Yom Chabez, all these days are a week later from each other. And so on and so forth. So if he also knows for sure they didn't leave on Erev Shabbos, he's got 2 days. Yom Zayim Yom Chesed, the 7th and 8th day after he left. And so too ad infinitum until he gets out. It's possible to prepare on that day, so those days, which he knows are for Shinat Shabbos, with his food for the entire week. He's obligated to do on those days. And he can't do malach on any other days at all. Hadron Alach Chelek Shlishi of the Arukh HaShulchan, Piskei Mishnah Berurah, which corresponds to Chelek Shlishi of the Mishnah Berurah. It's a milestone. Mazel tov. Chelik Revi. And it is also a distinction in Shulchan Aruch itself, because Chelik Gimel ends Hilchos Shabbos, and Chelik Dalet begins Hilchos Eruvin. So it is a milestone to have completed Hilchos Shabbos. Again, Aleph, Tanrabban, Shin Mem Hey, Dinei Rishus Harabim, Rishus Yochid, the Karmelis, and Makam Ptur, look of all the domains of Shabbos. Aleph, Tanrabban, Arba Rishus Shabbos. We learned in the Brisa there are 4 domains on Shabbos. Rishus Yochid, private domain, Rishus Harabim, public domain, Karmelis, which is a rabbinic public domain, Makam Ptur, an exempt place. All these things will be explained, obviously. This is the broad categories. The Pratios Tuveika, there are many, many details. And going back even more, Midoraisa, they're just 2 Rishuyos. Which is a Yachid, private domain, which is not public domain. You're not allowed to carry or throw something from one to the other. If you did so, b'mezid, literally chayav skila, you're liable to the death penalty. For sure, chayav chatas, if you did inadvertently, you're chayav chatas. Besides these 2 rishuyos, you're allowed to carry from in any rishus hayachid and any rishus harabim. Well, not in any in any Rishus Yachid, and any Rishus which is open to the Rishus Yachid. In other words, there is Rishus Yachid, Rishus Rabbi, in no man's land. And you can carry anything you want from no man's land to Rishus Yachid, and Rishus Yachid to the no man's land, and you also carry from the no man's land to Rishus Rabbi, and Rishus Rabbi to no man's land. Of course, in Rishus Rabbi itself, you can't carry 4 amos. Rabbanan split the no man's land into 2 additional rishuyos. By the Karmelis and Makam Ptur. The Karmelis also told him to Rishus Rabbim. From Karmelis now to carry neither into Rishus Yachid nor Rishus Rabbim. Came in and vice versa. Makam Ptur mutar, and from the exempt place, it's permissible. Pratios, but there are details. Even an absolute Rishus Yachid, if it doesn't meet the parameters which Rabbanan set up, you're not allowed to carry. And from the you're not allowed to carry from the Rishus Yachid into the non-corrected Rishus Yachid, from and vice versa. Such as a courtyard or an alley where there is no Eruv, and so too an unsettled area, which is more than a base sign, more than 50 by 100 amos, which is not meant, has not been designated for habitation. All these things will be explained later on.